Hi, I'm Professor Ritchey, and in this video, we're going to be looking at diversity in our family statuses and roles. Remember, our statuses are the positions that we hold in our groups, and roles are how we expect people who have a particular status to behave in particular situations. I noted that all cultures have similar statuses, and we looked at ascribed and achieved statuses, and we discovered what differs across cultures are the roles or the expected behavior associated with our statuses. Let's take a look at the family. The family is a primary group with long-term face-to-face interactions. When we learn a foreign language, we also learn the vocabulary associated with statuses. And let's just take a quick example here. If we look at English-speaking areas, Spanish-speaking areas, and Hindi-speaking areas, we can look at the statuses associated with the family group. We have those same statuses regardless of the language, regardless of the area. We have the same family statuses. But how do the expectations for parents vary across culture? We're going to look at the work of Professor Diana Baumrind. She developed a parenting typology, and she identified 4 parenting styles. The first is authoritative. We see the parental behavior as having firm behavioral control, providing psychological autonomy and acceptance. Some of the dimensions she identified was connection, which was warmth and support, regulation with reasoning and induction, and on autonomy granting with the idea of democratic participation in decision making. The authoritarian parenting style, we see firm behavioral control by parents, psychological control, and rejection. Dimensions here we see are physical coercion, verbal hostility, non-reasoning, and punitive. We also have the permissive parenting style, and we see lax behavioral control from parents. We see psychological autonomy for the children and acceptance. The dimension here would be considered indulgent. The last parenting style is the disengaged or the rejecting, neglecting. The parental behaviors we see here are lax in their behavioral control over the children and rejection. Take a look at the parenting styles questionnaire. I've provided it here and in the links below. Take a look at it and really look at and see what specific behaviors are observed for each style. One of the primary cultural tasks or goal of parenting is to create or socialize successful and competent members of a society. We want our children to be competent, confident, connected, have character, be caring. Parents behave in a culturally normative way to achieve this task. Parents receive social approval and support for normative parenting behaviors, and these legitimize the parental behavior from the perspective of the child. How does parental involvement impact youth adjustment? We're going to look at a study from Lansford et al. It was a huge study. They examined 12 cultural groups from China, Colombia, Italy, 2 regions in Italy, Jordan, Kenya, the Philippines, Sweden, Thailand, the United States, including African Americans, European Americans, and Latinos. And they defined parental involvement in terms of monitoring, psychological control, behavioral control, warmth and affection, and expectations about family obligations. These are very similar to what were identified in those parenting styles. Youth adjustment that they looked at was social competence, prosocial behavior, academic achievement, externalizing behaviors like aggression and delinquency, and internalizing behaviors like anxiety and depression. This study, Lansford et al., discovered that social competence is influenced by greater maternal expectations for family obligations, less material monitoring, less maternal behavioral control, and more maternal warmth. They found prosocial behavior was influenced by greater maternal expectations for family obligations, less mother-reported behavioral control, and more maternal warmth. Academic achievement was influenced by less maternal monitoring, less child-reported psychological control, and paternal warmth. They also found fewer internalizing behavioral problems influenced by higher maternal and paternal expectations for the children's family obligations. They also looked at differences between cultures, and they discovered that fathers reported higher social competence in their children in cultures with greater paternal monitoring. Mothers in cultures with lower mother-reported behavioral control report higher academic achievement in their children. Fathers in cultures with higher child-reported parental psychological control had higher academic achievement. Fathers report fewer child externalizing problems in cultures higher on monitoring and less psychological control and warmth. Mothers and fathers report fewer child internalizing problems in cultures with less psychological control and warmth. And finally, fathers report fewer child internalizing problems in cultures where father-reported parental monitoring was higher. The relation between a parenting belief or behavior and youth adjustment is intensified when the belief or behavior is more culturally normative. And this study also found support for the validity of the 4 parenting styles across cultures. So when we are interacting with people from different cultures, we can figure out what their parenting style is. It might be similar to our own. When we interact with others, we can ask about culturally normative behaviors or the roles associated with any status. Okay, next up we're going to continue to look at some statuses and roles. And in our next video, we will be looking at sex and gender roles. Okay, we'll see you soon.